Good evening, and welcome to Real Fellas Talk Sports. I'm Larry Abels. I'm your host for tonight, and we have a astute panel with me today. So let me introduce them to you. First, I'm going to start with our friend from the Midwest, David Burnett. How are you, David?
I'm doing wonderful. We got 80 degrees here in Indianapolis, and it'll be about almost 80 tomorrow. So it is summertime in the city. By the way, the sports capital
I
of the
was wondering
country
what was
and the
significant
world.
about it. I was going to ask you where were you in the Midwest, but you picked right up on it.
I
Uh,
sure did.
Next, I want to introduce my old high school classmate, Charles Snowden, also known as Chuck. How you doing, Chuck?
Hey, Larry, I'm doing great. Looking forward to the show. It's our NBA playoff show, and I really get excited about that.
And it's 2 for 1 at this time. So what does that make it, Chuck?
Happy hour.
We got it out.
Did he?
Then, we're gonna give a shout out to Bobby Kinzer. Mr. Everything, man. How you doing, Bob?
Hey, Larry, how you doing? If you're not able, you're definitely not Larry. Just glad to be here, and I'm looking for great moderation.
I'm sure we'll have a great time with the panel here. And last but not least, the famous Go Earl, aka the Sports Doctor. How you doing, brother Earl?
Larry, I'm doing great. I'm breathing. It's great to be alive.
Hey, amen, brother. All right, let's jump right into it. The NBA playoffs. And I want to get your thoughts about. We had 2 games last night. We had Miami and Atlanta, and we also had Los Angeles Lakers and Minnesota. So let's start with Miami and Atlanta. Chuck, did you see that game?
I did. I really did.
What do you think?
Here's the one comment. I'm sure we'll go around the panel and throw our, everyone will have something to say. But let me just say one thing about that game. Rarely would you see a Miami team get out hustled. And they got out hustled at home by the Hawks. The Hawks, I think, had 63 rebounds to Miami's 39. And I just thought it was an effort issue. So that's my comment. I have additional ones, but that's my initial comment about that game.
Bob, did you get a chance to see that game?
I sure did. And Miami, they're just suspect anyway. They just a great team that plays hard, hustle, like I don't know what, but that's not enough. They don't have enough players. And Atlanta, oh my God, man, they shocked me. And they, like you said, Chuck, the rebound, they just out rebound them so bad. One quick comment though, I haven't been here long, but I swear I don't remember Chuck having a mustache. Is that real?
No, he did not say that.
We will give you his address and phone number and everything. You get with him after the show. Hey, David, last year Miami was the number 1 seed in the East, and now they're struggling. They lost the playing game. What do you think about? Did you get a chance to see that game, and what do you think about Miami?
I saw a little bit of the game. It didn't excite me, but I'm not a fan of either team. Miami, though, I think. What's the old dude that they're about to retire, put in the rocking chair?
Haslam.
That's Miami, and Miami to me is just old as Udonis Haslam and ineffective. So I'm not surprised that they lost. And Clint Capella, 21 rebounds? In today's NBA, 21 rebounds by a center is significant.
Earl, your thoughts on the game?
I don't have too much thoughts. I mean, Miami doesn't really. They don't have any. They have a good team, as Bobby said, but they just don't have enough to do anything. And I, as well as Bobby, I was shocked by Atlanta's performance because I'm not a big Trae Young fan, but Atlanta played a great game last night. I thought it was a good game.
So what do you think? I mean, Miami was number 1 seed last year and took Boston to the limit. What do you think the difference is between this year and last year, Earl? I mean, Jimmy Butler still seems to play pretty well, but anything else?
I was thinking the same thing today, but I have no idea. Okay, first of all, Miami don't have no big man. Bam Adebayo is not no center to me. So they lack. They don't have no monster. They don't have nobody going in and grab the rebounds. Obviously, as Atlanta was playing ping pong with the ball on the rebounds last night. I don't know what the difference was. I think maybe they just got lucky last year. That's what I guess. I mean,
Bob, do you think it was luck? You finished, Earl? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, go ahead. I ain't saying nothing. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Bob,
yeah.
you think they got lucky last year, or what do you think the difference between this year and last year is?
This is the thing, Larry. The thing I like about Miami, they play so hard. I like teams like that, but they play so hard. By the time the fourth quarter come, I think they'd be spent. It seems like they just play so hard, but it's like running on a treadmill and they're not getting anywhere because they do the same thing every year, and I like their effort, but they just don't have that next level players to get them there. They got those players. I like what they have, but if they had some other players, I think they would proceed a lot further during playoffs time.
Let me ask you one thing, Bobby. Do you think that? No, not do you think. If you had to choose right now, today, would you take the European? I mean, the Caucasian guy from the Lakers. What's his name? Reeves or whatever.
Reeves,
Would you take him or would you take Hero from Atlanta?
Ooh,
Right now.
Hero from Miami.
That's a good one. But right now, only because I like the way Reeves be attacking, I would take Reeves the way that he attacks, man. I like his energy. So that's a tough one, but I would go Reeves.
What about you, Earl?
We talked about that. I'm going.
That's
I'm
why I'm
going
bringing
with
it up.
I'm going with Hero. I mean, Reeves is playing well, but he has not played long enough at a steady pace for me to take him over Johnny Hero right now. That's just me.
Okay. Couldn't resist asking that. Let's talk about the next game. David, Los Angeles Lakers and Minnesota. Any thoughts on that game?
Absolutely. There's some thoughts on that game. Minnesota is the most stupid team in years.
Stop it, Dave.
What did they do stupid last night?
Last night is a result of stupidity as well. They had a center that's punching a teammate, and it wasn't even really a good punch. Then another teammate hitting his hand on the wall, who actually covers LeBron James better than almost anybody. And then your star young player goes 3 for 17 during the game last night.
19.
Minnesota had every opportunity to win that game, had every opportunity to bring a full-fledged team, and didn't do either. Stupidity. That's my thought.
Are we really saying just because Ant had a bad shooting night, he's lacking in mental acuity or something?
I'm not saying he's not smart. No, he's a smart kid. He knows how to play basketball, but you can't come up small in a playoff game or in that kind of situation. You can't. That's when a guy who's been as praised as he's been praised.
So what are you saying? He's not dumb. He's just stupid.
No, I'm not saying he's stupid. You can't be off. You can't shoot 3 for 17. You can't. Not in a playoff game. If it was a second
stupidity, that's my bad.
Well,
Yeah,
the stupidity was the punch, the two punches, the one.
What was last night?
I agree with you on that one, Dave.
The question was, what did they do stupid last night?
I don't think they did anything stupid. They just didn't play well.
They lost.
You can't be that bad, and your star player can't be that inaccurate. You can't.
Well, I think David said part of last night's the lack of at least two players was a result of stupidity. I think that's what
Well, I'm still waiting to see what happened stupid last night. It's not stupid that the guy was off. So what other reason? What did they do that was stupid?
They had 24. They did have 24 turnovers. They had times when they just really threw the ball away.
Sometimes turnovers are cost.
They played terrible. I mean, they could have won that game.
Terrible is not.
Should have won the game.
And that tells you. But that tells you. Go ahead, Earl.
Well, let's move on from the. I think he kind of talked about what he thought was stupid. Chuck, what did you think about the game last night?
Well, I
Los
thought it was weird. As weird the game. It's about that I've seen. A fourth quarter team, Minnesota scored only 12 points and then 4 points in OT. And I think the Lakers only had 19. It was 24 turnovers for Minnesota, 21 for LA. It just was people were throwing the ball away, making bad plays. It was, LA couldn't even get the ball in bounds 2 times in a row. It was just a weird game. And I have to take my hat off to Mike Conley. I have been trashing Mike Conley for as long as we've been on this show. That's been 3 years. Yesterday, he shut me up because I thought he played really, really, really well. And one last comment. So they got this guy, D'Angelo Russell. What's up with this dude? He was trash last night, and I don't understand.
Whoa.
I mean, he was trash. And you talking about Anthony Edwards or the guy from Minnesota? I thought D'Lo was terrible.
Well, anybody can have a bad game, apparently, right?
Well,
Not doing the playoffs.
Can't have it in the playoffs.
Can't have it in the playoffs.
Well, we just had 2 guys had them last night, so both teams. Bob, what do you think about the game last night?
Horrible. It was hard. I'd rather watch paint dry on the wall than to watch that game, man. Minnesota should have won the game, but the reason why they didn't, the Lakers just wore them down. They just wore down because they had them. They were up by 12. It was just
they stopped making shots. Minnesota stopped making shots. They were making shots.
The old saying from the playground, right? Live by the jumper, die by the jumper. But remember, we're in the jump shot league now. It's all about 3-pointers. Right. So the young boy told me, 6'8" guy, went to Harvard. I said, man, I know you dunking on them. He said, no, Mr. Bob, I don't dunk. 3 is better than 2. I'm like, God dang. So we're in a jump shot league, and you get what you get. If you live by the jumper, you die. Minnesota didn't have too many turnovers for one. And LA, stop it. You're right. Suspect like Miami.
Right.
Earl, your thoughts on the game last night?
It's one of the worst played games that I've seen in a while. I don't want to go into the recent recency bias, but it was a horrible game. And Chuck always argued with me. Yes, I've been a Laker fan all these years, and I'm still a Laker fan. But Los Angeles should have lost that game. It was a horrible game. I don't even want to talk about it. Whereas Charles is excited that they're going to the playoffs, I'm thinking
they ain't going nowhere.
I'm thinking
Right.
it's embarrassing the way they played. It's just embarrassing.
I agree with you, Earl.
And one of the top 10 players of all time has almost double-figure turnovers. There's a problem. Besides the coach, which I've been telling you guys for years. And not one time, whenever throwing the ball away, not one time did the coach call time and say, what the hell is going on? He just let him go and play, as David said, stupid. They're horrible.
Earl, the only thing worse than that game last night was Chuck coming on here with a damn Lakers jersey after the way they played.
Wow. What's wrong with the
Yeah,
Lakers?
They
we'll
won.
hook you up with
They
Chuck.
won. Bottom
You can
line
talk
is
about
they
his-
won.
They won. You're right. They won.
Again, Bob, after the show, we'll hook you up with Chuck, and you can talk about his mustache and his attire, or anything else he's willing to share with you. Hey, I want to get you guys to look ahead a little bit. Okay, we got some interesting 4 or 5 matchups. In the East, we have the Knicks and the Cavaliers. And I hear a lot of noise about the Knicks, even though they're in the number 5. David, do you think the Knicks will beat the Cavaliers coming up?
No. I'm just going to start up with a simple no, 2 letters, N-O. I think the Cavaliers are just better than them. I think the Knicks need another player or 2. And I'll leave it at that.
Earl, what do you think of that matchup, Knicks and Cavaliers?
I don't think much of the matchup. The press seems to think it's going to be a real close series. I'm from the old school. You are who we thought they are. The Knicks ain't winning nothing.
Okay.
They're the Knicks. That's all. They're the Knicks.
Bobby, how do you think they match up?
Well,
Knicks and
I'm going to give
Cavaliers.
full disclosure. I am not a fan of the wild man of Barnio. Randall, He is a buster to me. I would never have him on my team. He's a
Wow.
buster, so they're not going nowhere as long as they have him on that team. Oh, and if anyone want to challenge me on that, check where they are right now and look at the history, why he's been there. But, and I said this before, I hope y'all remember, David, didn't I say I'm a Cavaliers fan now? I like that team, man. I mean, they got some boys that can play, man. I like it. Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell's been fantastic.
But they got other players that, man, I think they might, I hope they pull it through. But, this is a game of chance.
They only have wait, hold on. Let's not go too crazy. They got one other guy. Darius Garland's pretty good, and Mitchell's phenomenal. The rest of that team is just okay, Bobby. And who else on that team is that good? Mobley? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Are you kidding
like
me?
Mobley.
You got to be kidding me. Julius Randle will eat him up. Eat him up.
Which led me to the next question, Chuck. I see 3 people go with Cleveland. Who do you think will win that matchup?
I think the Knicks will win it.
Okay. Let's
I think
give a
the
shout
Knicks
out
will
to
win it.
Terry.
Look, the Knicks got the Knicks has RJ Barry. They've got
He's
Brunson.
kind of like Mobley, isn't he?
Is that up and down?
Yeah. It's kinda like
No,
Mobley.
he's not like Mobley. No, he's not like Mobley. No, he's not. RJ Barrett is pretty good. He's a 6'8", 6'9" guard, can do a lot of things. And they've got Brunson. They've got
He's played
as
great.
we've got Randall, and they've got a good coach, a really good coach that's been tested. The Knicks are better than people think, man. They've been playing really, really good ball lately. And they picked up this kid from Sidwell, friends, shout out, named Josh Hart. And Josh is a do-everything kind of dude. He can check people. He can score sometimes. And the Knicks are going to beat them. The Knicks are going to beat Cleveland.
So we'll check back in next
I'll
week.
take money on that one.
So we can give a shout out to Terry Reed and Richard Turner, 2 of our faithful viewers. Thanks for chiming in. Donovan is a J.R. Reed type.
Oh my God! He called J.R. Reed.
Ooh, I don't know about
He does
that.
shoot. He shoots all. Hey, Bob. He shoots all the time. He's a hell of a
you
player.
need that.
He shoots all the time.
You
Jonathan
need
is a lot better than J. Rod.
Yeah, I think
No, I
I'm
agree,
telling
but
you.
he shoots all the time.
yeah.
that. He scored 71 points one time.
Hey, Terry,
Because he
thanks
shoots
for
all
the
the time.
controversial. Thanks for the controversial
Thanks for
statement.
getting
We
us
needed that.
started. Yeah.
But you tripping? Come on.
Okay.
J.R. Reed's mother chased him off the court. Come on, how can we have respect for a guy like that?
So let's look at the other 4 or 5 matchup. The Clippers and the Suns out west. David, who do you think will win that matchup? Clippers and Suns.
The Suns, and the reason being, Paul George is going to come up small
Short-handed.
as usual.
He's hurt.
He's
Yeah,
hurt.
He's still hurt.
He might not even be
He's
there.
hurt. He may play. I saw him in a shoot around. If you can play, you should play. That's the way I see it. He's a multimillionaire. Get on the court. But the Clippers are just the Clippers, and you got. Well, I'll just leave it at that.
Earl, what do
Clippers
you think of that series? And keep in mind, Kawhi Leonard is playing very well these days.
Up until he gets hurt.
What
Well,
2 games we talking about, Larry? What team we talking
Clippers
about?
and Suns series, the 4-5 in the West. Who do you like?
I really can't call that. There's too many things involved. I mean, Paul George may come back and he might be healthy, and Kawhi may be playing like he normally plays. I can't make that call. Phoenix, they look great on paper, but I'm disappointed in Aiden, so I can't make that call. Normally, I would probably say Phoenix, but I can't make that call. I don't know how Paul George is going to be, and I don't know whether Aiden's going to act like a female dog or what. I don't know. I can't make that call.
Okay.
Chuck, who do you like in that series?
I like Phoenix.
Phoenix.
I like Phoenix. I mean, not by a lot, because I really respect the hell out of Ty Lue and what he does and the job that he does. I mean, and you're right. Kawhi is playing great. So, but when you put KD, Booker, CP3, and Ayton, and they can stay healthy, that's a key. That's a pretty formidable bunch. Have they lost a game? The three, since they've been together, the three, KD, Booker,
No.
KD
and
is when KD. They haven't lost a game since KD's played.
right.
They haven't lost a game KD's played in yet. I think they won
Right.
like 9 or 10. Bob, who do you like in that series?
I think it would be a tougher call if there was a healthy Paul George. But with Paul George, even if he does play, I just think Phoenix has too much.
Even if Paul George was healthy, he would let you down. He's never had a thorough playoff series. He
What do you
just
call
has.
it? Playoff Pete.
What do you call
Where's he
himself?
from? Where's he from?
He's
He
from
played with
he's
the
from
Pacers.
LA. He's
Very
not
hard.
first of all,
Very
he's not from Indianapolis or Indiana.
Right.
That's when he became Playoff Pete, though, right? When he in Indianapolis.
No, he did. He called himself that when he was with the Clippers. Or I think it was when he was with the Thunder.
How many teams has he played for? Damn.
The Pacers, the Thunder,
Pacers.
and the Clippers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Patrick in his pack.
Who's going to win that series, Bob?
Let me sum this up for everybody on here. The Clippers. Anytime you relying on Russell Westbrook to win any goddamn thing, you are foolish. You like a one-eyed man with an eye patch. It makes no sense. I rest my case. Russell Westbrook, come on, man.
I don't know why you.
I think
you
more
talking
towards the
about
Kawhi Leonard they might be relying on.
One man can't win a basketball game. You haven't learned that, right? We know that. We do know as sportsmen in this game, one man cannot win a game.
So let me ask you something, Bob. Is CP3 really still on top of his game? Can he keep up with the guy like who the other guy that
Yes,
got man?
if you keep giving a bunch of Ben Gay the night before and ice, probably so. Yeah.
Just curious. Hey, we're gonna move on to another team that just like Phoenix added, a bunch of firepower. Here's another team that added a bunch of firepower, but they had a different result. And Chuck, I'm talking about the Dallas Mavericks. What went wrong with the Mavericks when they got Kyrie Irving, who actually played pretty well for them? What went wrong there?
Hey, Larry, before I answer that question, how about you? Who wins the Phoenix Clippers series in your opinion?
Phoenix is going to win.
Well, let's go back to what do you think about the Knicks and Cavs? Who wins that series?
I think Cleveland's going to win that.
You said
And
Knicks?
Cleveland.
Oh, thank you.
and who wins the? Those are the only two we've covered.
Hey, man,
so far, right?
I'm asking the questions today. Now let's get back to Dallas.
So here's what Dallas. So here's the deal, and David, I think is going to back me up on this. Anytime you bet on Kyrie Irving, I don't care what his results are, you've messed the chemistry up because that guy you can't. The guy is just bad news. He's like Sleprock or whoever that guy was that has a cloud over his head. He just brings bad karma to your team. And so as a result, they gave up pieces of that team that worked well with Doncic. And this other group, they just don't have enough. Christian Wood, he won't be back with this club. They just don't have the talent, in my opinion.
Will Kyrie Irving be back? Kyrie Irving be back?
Well, they said that was their number one priority to bring him back. Now I don't know why they would do that, but they like that guy for whatever reason. At least they say it, publicly.
So even though Kyrie played pretty well in Dallas, him being there is just bad karma for him.
Yeah, it's bad. And they broke it up. They sent some players out. They just didn't have enough. They made the mistake. They never should have let Brunson go. That was the bomb. I should have paid.
No, I mean that happened. That happened, before the season.
No, I know, but I mean it was all part of this bad decisions on top of bad decisions, which made them panic in bringing this guy Kyrie. And that, by the way, any team, because he's a free agent, who in the world is going to give Kyrie, in my opinion, who in the world, if we're not giving Lamar Jackson a full guaranteed contract, who in the world is going to give Kyrie $220 million or something ridiculous?
Same people that gave Russ all that money.
So David, Chuck thinks you'll back him up. Are you backing him up? What went
I'm
wrong
backing
with
him up
Dallas?
100%. You know how I feel about Kyrie Flat Earth Irving. He's going to always be flat earth. He's a disruptor. He disrupts the chemistry of the team. And it doesn't matter how good he is. He's a talented player, but he's an individual. He's not a true teammate. He's an individual, and he marches to his own beat, and it's not always in the beat that his teammates are heading for. So, if I'm Dallas, I don't re-sign him. There's no way, because he doesn't really help the team. And he and Luka, even though they're both dynamic players, Luka played much better with Brunson last year, much better, and they
And the
fit
other
better.
guys. Yeah.
Okay, but Brunson is gone now, and Dallas has made, they traded a
But
bunch of players for him. Do you think that
Dallas was playing fairly, reasonably well before the Kyrie trade. So I'm supporting
place.
the point that Chuck was making 100%.
They were
Earl,
in fourth place.
at this stage, what went wrong in Dallas, and is Dallas going to re-sign Kyrie Irving?
Nothing went wrong. Just as Charles said, they don't have anybody. Most of these teams that are going to the playoffs or highly ranked teams, they have at least 2 all-stars and maybe a half of an all-star. You gotta have at least 3 decent people on your team. They don't have no depth. Dallas doesn't have anything. I don't even know why they traded for Kyrie, because it wouldn't have made no difference. They don't have no big men. They don't have no depth. They don't have anything. They're no better than the Wizards. So, there's nothing went wrong with them. I guess the question should be, when is anything going to go right for them?
Bob, is Dallas going to re-sign Kyrie Irving? They traded 4 players for him.
Well, like Earl said, they really don't have another choice. They don't have nobody. So it's almost they got to. But this is my thing. They don't have nobody. And anytime you have Kyrie Irving and JaVale McGee on the same team, no, I like JaVale McGee.
They have Luka Doncic on that team too.
Oh man, look. Now, I'm not one to pull a race card, but this team seems to favor a lot of white players for some reason.
Oh.
What do you mean by that?
Luka Doncic could play on anybody's team. I don't
You know
care.
what I mean?
He could play on anybody's team.
And so could Dirk. Dirk.
And you'll never win with
Well, Dirk won a title. He won a
Doncic.
title.
Doncic.
Oh,
Who won the title?
You can win.
Wait a minute. Wait just a
If
minute.
somebody gives you the
You know why?
title,
You know why?
if
Let me
Dirk
tell you why.
all time
And
gives you the
I-
title, you can win one.
I give you the floor, but this is my defense. Any guy that got to have the ball all the time, your teams never win.
Okay.
And you the point, and you be playing the point.
But irrespective of what color he is, can he play?
He could play.
Okay. That's
I'm not going to put
He's
race-
about,
They were in the hold on. They were in the Western Conference Final last year.
No, okay. I mean that's
Western
cool.
Conference Finals.
That's cool. They win the
they
Western.
lost
Conference
to the
Finals.
champions.
They lost.
To the champions.
It don't matter.
Team
They
that
lost.
beat-
They don't
team that
put
beat
aside
everybody.
the loss. They lost to the champions.
Well, okay, 29
You're not going
teams.
to mark. The boy handles the ball too much. He has to have the ball.
Well, you know what?
And my last
You know
thing-
what? If you're talented and you're the best player on your team, which Luka is, sometimes that's all they got. And you put him with Kyrie Irving, another ball dominant player. It's just a bad mix. Just a bad
all I'm
mix.
saying.
But Luka is a great player. I don't care if he's purple.
Yeah. So is Allen Iverson, but you never win with him. They got to have the ball too much.
How many
My-
people?
my
How many
problem
teams?
is they can't play defense. They can't play defense.
No.
They could not stop anybody at any time.
Zero,
Yeah.
Larry. 0 D. No D.
Uh,
And this is the thing, though, too. This is people miss about triple-double people like Westbrook, which sounds great. But when you lead score, you lead in rebounds, and you lead in assists, that means one thing. You handling the ball a hell of a lot of times. But I leave my story, leave it at Doncic the same way.
But don't most point guards handle the ball all the time?
Yeah, but the traditional throwback point guards like
Well,
CP3,
we're not in a
trying to
throw.
score.
We're not in a throwback era anymore.
And that's why you won't win with them. That's my point. That's why you won't win. But if look at the teams that have traditional point guards, even back to the NCAA, you look at the teams this year, that was something that stood out. They had point guards that ran the team and wasn't scoring point guards. Check it
Okay,
out.
well,
That's
let's just put it this way. Chris Paul is considered arguably the best point guard, best pure point guard in the last decade and a half.
Correct.
What has he won? Nothing. He's always hurt, and when it comes down to crunch time, he's letting his team down. And that's a pure point guard who doesn't dominate the ball.
I'm not going to judge all point guards on him, though, on his failure. God dang, Dave, give a man a break. Hate to see you at Lawton. God, there'd be a bunch of people on the death chair.
We're going to move on to the next matchup. Now, there's only 1, 3, 6 I'm going to talk about. And that's the Kings and the Warriors. The Kings don't seem to get any respect, all right? They're the number 3 seed. David, how are they going to do against the Warriors?
Okay, they're two California teams. They're not that far apart.
90 miles apart, yeah.
I'll just put it this way. I want Sacramento to win because they are a flyover type city, but they're not going to. Golden State is going to win that because they're going to find a way to return to glory, at least for one series. And Sacramento will come back next year and be better.
Earl,
Golden State.
why?
They're better.
Chuck, how do you think?
I agree with both Earl and David, and I believe that because of their veterans, they've been there, they've got a lot of rings, they're starting to round into shape. They may get Wiggins and GP3 or Gary Payton Jr. back.
Payton's
And
back.
then Sacramento, and then there's a process. Sacramento had an incredible regular season. They've got a lot of good talent, but you can't just waltz into the playoffs and be successful. It's a whole different brand of game, and I think that Golden State will pull this out. I think the series will be close, but I think
I was
Golden
going to ask
State
you how
will
many
pull this
games?
out.
How many games? You think it'll go at
I
least
think
6 games?
I think it'll go 6. I think Golden State will end it in Golden State in Game 6.
Bobby,
Full disclosure, I really haven't seen Sacramento play,
okay.
but I have seen Golden State play. So if I go on just history, I think their inexperience will be their biggest negative in playing against a team that is experienced and knows how to win and knows how to play in the playoffs. Because a lot of these guys don't know. 82 games is totally different when you hit the playoffs. It's weird how
100% right.
shifts, you know. And I just don't know any of these players. I look at the roster. I know the boy in Kentucky's nice. You know, was it Fox? Yeah. He's nice. And
Don't forget Sabonis.
Bonus.
And
Sabonis
is good.
12 rebounds a game.
Yeah. But that's
7
he's
assists
really
a
good.
game.
But that's not enough. I don't think they can. I don't think they can score.
The rookie Keegan Murray is good. Harrison
No, they got
Barnes
some nice young
is
players, Chuck.
serviceable. They
They
do.
got some
They
nice
do.
players. But like
they
I
haven't
said,
been-
they seem
They haven't
inexperienced.
been
to me.
here. Right.
They just
I
seem
agree.
experienced. And like I said, I haven't
agree.
really seen them, but I think experience, wins over, man.
And tell Terry that Kobe had a guy named Shaquille O'Neal on that team too.
And he didn't have Shaquille, and he won one.
Well, they had Paul Gasol.
That's what he just said.
Oh,
So let me ask you guys something about last night, okay?
Mm-hmm.
My opinion, Minnesota looked tired. They looked tired. I mean, the first half, I thought they were moving the ball a lot. Then every time Cat went out, it seemed like they fell apart, offensively as well as defensively. Was it wise or was it appropriate for Minnesota to suspend Gobert last night? Bobby, I'll start with you.
Oh man, why you start with me, man? I'm a player's guy. I'm always anti-disestablishment, because I think they always cut us short and want to pay us less money and want to throw us out the game and make a point.
But when you hit another player, he hit another player. I mean, this is not management against labor. This is labor against labor.
Yeah,
another player.
but like if now this should
What
make
if you
a
had
difference.
been hit?
Go ahead.
What if he had hit you?
Okay, if he would hit me in the same place that he hit young boy
Right.
Anderson,
Right.
I would say, come on, man, no harm, no foul. You know.
Okay.
Now, if he would have broke his hand, broke the guy's jaw, but when you need him most, I don't know if that was a good move. But and this is the other thing. I'm not a Gobert fan anyway because that type of center, they are obsolete. Because when he gets pulled away, when he's at the basket, he plays great defense. But when the centers like nowadays, they pull him outside the perimeter, he's non-effective. I'm just going to say that about Gobert.
Anthony Davis, when Cat was out there with no competition, he was inside chewing them up.
Offensive rebound, offensive rebound, offensive rebound.
Gobert does not have no offensive game like Anthony Davis. Please stop that.
No, but
No.
But he could have guarded him.
Yeah.
Right. He could have
When
guarded.
Cat went out of the game, there was no resistance down low.
Right.
Cat gets in the foul trouble too a lot.
Too much.
Now, what's the question?
Was it wise to
It's that
suspend
couch of
Gobert
Terry
last night?
I think Minnesota was probably, well, since it was Minnesota's was the one that did the suspension, wasn't the NBA, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
General manager.
Gobert is not an offensive player. He's a great defensive player. I have never seen Gobert, as much as I like him, I've never seen him be effective in the playoffs. And when he was with Utah, the many years he was with Utah, Utah was good. They always came up short, and Gobert always had statistics that were pretty paltry in playoff circumstances. So I don't think they missed anything. The reason they lost, well, I've said it earlier in the show, they were stupid.
They were worn down too, like you said, Larry.
I think they was worn down, and I think with Cat sitting down, they had no resistance by the basket, no rebounding.
Right.
And I think Gobert would have made a difference last night.
I don't think
First of all, Karl Anthony Towns has never been known as a great defensive player.
He was blocking his shots. He was blocking shots last night, particularly in the first half.
he's
Second
not
half,
known.
both teams were just missing.
He's not known as a great player, but he's known as one of the better defenders of Anthony Davis. Though.
Yeah, they were going at it.
Anthony Davis struggles against him more than just anybody in the league.
That's that Kentucky. Both of them went to Kentucky.
For whatever reason, I'm just saying, according to statistics, not just what I think and what I say, he's one of the most effective defenders against Anthony Davis. And if Minnesota looked tired, what did the Lakers look like? Because they sure would look more tired than Minnesota. I'm just asking.
Agreed.
Look, at the end of the day, you can't score 12 points in the fourth quarter and expect to win. They just stopped making shots and turning the ball over. They stopped making shots and turning the ball over. I mean, to me, it was that simple.
When you shoot jumpers, you need legs. People think it's your arms. No, shooting jumper is from your legs. When your butt is worn out and tired, those long jumpers become a lot harder to get the power to shoot.
Well, Ant was selling for that early in the game.
I mean, they have nothing to be. They have nothing to be ashamed of. They were shorthanded, and they took the Lakers to overtime. I mean,
so Chuck, I'll ask you: was it wise to bench Gobert?
I'm wondering if there's more to that story. Meaning, has this been an ongoing thing? Because I thought that was an overreaction to something that I physically saw. So I'm just wondering if there's other drama with Gobert in the locker room or the team or something.
I heard someone call him the B word.
Because I just thought
times.
Somebody called him the B word.
About 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
On the beat, which you didn't
call Gobert. Somebody called Gobert the B word.
No, Anderson.
Yeah.
Calling him a B. A B arch.
And by the way, I think he's a dog too. I think Anderson's a dog. He didn't do anything last night.
He did well in the first half, but he disappeared in the second half. Like
right.
he
didn't even try to shoot. They even they did him like Gavin did in Iowa. They just wouldn't even guard him out. Yeah, they wouldn't even guard him.
Did you see when he made those 3-pointers in the first half? It was like a set shot. It's
Yeah,
a
it was
weird
weird little shot. I know it was a weird little shot.
But I mean, he
wasn't
looked comfortable. He was busting them early on. Then he
He
kind of
was.
disappeared.
it? Right.
I think that given this, with the other guy breaking his hand, I would have just fined him and let him play. If the team was all right with it, I would have just hit him with a fine and let him play. I don't know why they had to suspend him.
Now I'm not one to break.
And again, we've talked about this a lot. But I'll just make one last point. And I guess he was hurt, but Anthony Edwards just didn't play well either. And I'll say that he was just hurt because he just didn't play well.
3 for 17.
But you know, he
I think
settled
actually,
for
David.
threes.
I think it was 3 for 19, David. I think it was worse than 3 for.
Well, it was
3 for
horrible.
19.
He
was
settled
horrible.
for threes almost all night. He seldom went to the rim. He finally went late in the game and dunked.
Two dunks, that two
Yeah.
thing.
But he was settling for threes even in the first half.
A quick question: is he in the top 10 of players in the NBA?
No,
Who?
Thank you. That sums it up. Thank you.
no.
But no, but they say he's one of those
an
superstars
He's
that
an
are coming.
outstanding young player,
Up
but
and
he's
coming.
not in the
but
top
he ain't
10.
there yet. He ain't
Hey,
there.
Larry, let me ask you, Larry, was it a two-part question? Or what is the question? Is the question what you had benched this guy or what was wrong with Anthony Edwards? Or was it
No,
two-part?
was it wise to bench Gobert last night? Was it?
So how did we get on Anthony Edwards? I'm just asking.
Well, this is a free flowing.
Sometimes you know what? We're like a jazz band. Sometimes we just flow, Earl.
Like
Sometimes we
that.
just
I
I'm
flow.
like that, Chuck.
Okay.
syncopation and all of that. But, but really, that's my cue to move on. So I'll move on.
Thank you for the answer, Charles.
Yes, Earl is like the cowbell. Yeah.
Hey, last question on the NBA. No, I have two more.
Earl said, what the hell that mean?
Number one, how far will the Lakers go? They got Memphis coming up. And part of me looks at, okay, the Lakers get to pay Minnesota. They got two guys out. They get to play Memphis and Clark and the big Australian guy. Yeah, they're both
Adams,
yeah.
Adams, Clark and Adams.
David, how far are the Lakers going?
They will lose to the Grizzlies, probably. On paper, they should lose probably 4-2.
Bob,
And
how far will the Lakers go?
I don't know, David. Damn that vein of it. Dave, you all right, man? You sound like Burl Ives over that mug. You tired today or something? I'm sorry. I answered your question. Was
How far will the Lakers go?
Bobby,
I know the question.
don't go anywhere wearing that Ricky Ricardo hat.
Oh no! Oh
That's my-
no!
Larry, answer to your question. The Lakers are done. Okay,
They're done?
Stick a fork in them dudes, man. Stick a fork. The guy Chuck, the guard, that you said didn't do nothing. What's his name, Chuck? The guard for the Lakers.
So D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell.
He ain't not effective.
I don't know what's up
They're in
with that
disarray, man. They done. If they don't go this time, they go on the next round. They done.
Are they going to get by Memphis?
No.
Okay. Chuck, what do you think? What's the conference?
So they
finals?
beat Memphis 2 games. They played Memphis 3 times. I know regular season doesn't matter. It's not a foreshadowing about what happened in the playoff. But they beat Memphis 2 out of 3 this year. The 3 times that they played them. And I got to tell you, it always comes. And David, it always comes down to this: is Anthony Davis going to be healthy through that series? If Anthony Davis is going to be healthy through that series, I think
Let's assume everybody's healthy.
then I think they can win that thing. I really do. Remember, Memphis's team is all predicated on Dylan Brooks and Tyus Jones and Ja and the Baines. They're all guards that shoot. They don't have bigs now. They all those injuries. And LA is big. And LA has a deep bench. So
you
I
think
think
State?
So you think they'll beat Memphis?
Play small ball? Don't go to State play small ball and
Yeah.
win?
Yes. Yeah, they do.
And you just
they
named
do.
4 players, Chuck.
So, Chuck, you think they'll beat Memphis, right? Is that correct, Chuck? Okay, so if they win that,
Yes,
if they
you are
win,
right.
if they win that, they got to play the winner of the Kings and the Warriors. What about the next round? I'm trying to see how far they can
I
go.
think they can. Bottom line, they can win the West. That's the bottom line.
okay,
LA Lakers
okay.
can win the West.
I was gonna see there.
They got 2 All-Stars. They got 2 top 15 players in the league. And they have a
Anthony
bunch of
Davis
other-
ain't in the top 15.
Are you
Stop it.
kidding me? Have you been watching him?
What? No, well, wait a minute. Wait
Are
a
you
minute.
serious, David?
Anthony
Watching
Davis
him
has
last
Are you
the
serious, David?
hold it. Anthony Davis has the skill to be a top 15 player, but he doesn't. He's not on the court enough. He's played 60% of the games in his career, so I can't give him
I
credit.
understand what you're saying.
They played very well. The whole thing about if he stays healthy, they played very well since the All-Star break. That team has.
Right.
I think they've had the best record since the All-Star break. Earl, how far will the Lakers go? I knew I was gonna have fun.
They're not going anywhere. Nowhere.
They're gonna beat Memphis.
The Lakers will not beat Memphis. The Lakers are done, as Bobby said.
How many
I'll
games?
look at my kitchen cabinet. If you can't find the forks to stick in them, I will find one for you. If you can't
So
tell,
why do you and Bobby have so much confidence in Memphis? What is it about Memphis?
because we
that
saw the
makes-
game last night.
I saw the game last night. Thank you, Earl.
Memphis is
Okay,
missing
that's not a
two
bad
big
game.
men, and their third one is very good, but he's also prone
Hey,
to foul.
It's not a bad game.
Charles, I've been watching them for the last since second half of the year. If the last week and a half, these guys have lost leads with 10-point leads with 2 minutes left. 7-point lead with a minute left. They're not a championship team. They can't go nowhere. They don't have it. They have a coach problem.
Well, we're not asking. We didn't ask if they're a championship. We just said, can they beat Memphis? And by the way, in those last
I
12
said
games,
no.
Earl, they're 10.
How many
They're
ways
10.
do you
They're
want me to
10
say
and
No,
no?
the
2. They're
question is
10
how
and 2.
far can they
They're
go?
How
10
many
and
ways
2.
do you want me to say no, Charles? I said no
No,
five
but you're
times.
saying but you said they're not a championship team, and I'm saying we're just talking about a series here.
No.
What have you seen
Larry
about
said,
Memphis?
how far could they go? Larry's question was
No.
Okay, time out. I said how far could they go? 3 of you said they're going to lose in this next round. Chuck thinks they're going to win at least 2 rounds. All right, that's it. Last question on the NBA. I'm going to put it this way: who's going to be number 4 in the MVP voting? Okay, in essence, if we didn't have Embiid, Joker, and Giannis, who will win the MVP? Everybody's going to have pensive looks on their face. David, we'll go with you first. Who will win the MVP?
What's the kid from Boston?
Jason Tatum?
Tatum.
Jason Tatum is number 4, and he's the lone American. And until he starts putting up, 38, 40 points a game, and I think his counterpart on the wing hurts him a little bit, because I would like to see Tatum take on even more of a leadership role and more of a scoring role, even though he's scoring almost 30 points a game. I think for him to ever be MVP, to get out of the number 4 position, he's got to become an even more dynamic scorer.
Bob?
Ooh, that's a tough one, but I got to go with Tatum. And I was trying to just look up because I wasn't sure about where Steph Curry was this year.
Well, that's the name I was wondering about.
So that's why I was hedging right there until I looked it up a little bit more because I wasn't sure. But between the two, if Steph goes all the way, I would have to be Steph. But if he doesn't, then I would say Jason Tatum.
Chuck, who do you have?
Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum?
Yeah.
Sports doctor. Tell us who it would be.
But my choice would be the guy who plays with them.
Jaylen
Brown?
Yeah.
Who?
That would be my
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
That would be my choice.
They are a great.
I've never seen a soft side of him. I've never seen a soft side of him. And I've never seen an inconsistency side. Tatum does both. I've seen a female dog side of Tatum several times, and he has had several inconsistent. He had displayed inconsistent behavior in playoff games.
Hey, Earl, so Tatum was averaging 30 points, 8 rebounds. Is that right? 8 rebounds, 30 points and 8 rebounds.
They are excellent 1-2 punch.
Okay, so what did you say have to do with what I just said?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay. Well, I asked you to come on
I
the
think
show.
Earl
to add
thinks
to
that
it.
Brown is more consistent.
Huh?
I think Earl is saying Brown is more consistent.
I think he is too.
He's been more consistent, yes.
Yeah.
But let's stay on that topic just for a half a second.
Go ahead.
Jaylen Brown is so overlooked. He's frustrated in Boston. So I don't even know whether he's going to make it past into next season with Boston, because I think it's his time to be an individual star. And he'll never be the star in Boston. It'll always be Jason Tatum. And I think what we're saying is that Jaylen is ready for stardom, but he's being held back. That's what I see.
I think Jaylen is going to be a free agent and sign with the highest bidder. If he makes first, second, or third team All NBA, which is a chance he might, Boston will give him one of those supermax contracts, and he'll be a Boston.
Well, I think it's money. I mean, once you're over $40 million a year, what's the difference? Hold on, let me finish.
The rest of us can't
my point.
conceptualize that. We know that you're in the tax bracket, but the rest of us, we can't quite grasp that yet.
I'm just saying that at some point your ego comes in, and it's not just about money. He's been overshadowed by a player that I think he's frustrated playing underneath, even though the guys are very, very similar in talent, very similar in terms of the contribution in Boston. But I sense that Jaylen Brown really wants to have his own team, and he'll never be his team while he's in Boston. And that's what I'm getting based on what I've read and all that. That's what I get a sense of.
When I listen to him, he's a little frustrated because when Durant was available, they were talking about trading him, and he didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he realized it's a business. And and I heard him say, I just want to be, where someone wants me. If they sign him to a supermax contract, I think he'll be there, and I think he'll be happy, because then Boston will be showing that commitment to him. Because
I hear you, but I still think that there's an ego factor, and every player wants to be the man. Depending on the size of his ego and his desire, you want to be the man, no matter what you get paid.
Yeah, I haven't seen any evidence of that with him, though. I haven't seen any evidence of that.
Well, I tell you what, I just love this conversation. The reality to me is that Jaylen's good. He's not Tatum, in my opinion. And I think back to Joe Dumars and Isaiah, or Scotty and I mean, Jaylen, and plus Jaylen is too damn moody for me too. He's just moody and weird. And maybe he's had a couple of big games. I just don't think so for some reason, you guys are turning that dude into Michael Jordan or somebody. He is not that dude like that. So in other words,
he's pretty damn good.
He's robbing.
I don't think it's that much difference between those two.
He's robbing.
I don't think it's that much difference between those two. I don't think
He ain't no Robin.
He can't be the man.
First of all, we cannot forget how poorly Jason Tatum played in the finals last year.
Exactly.
He played poorly.
How's he playing this year?
That doesn't make him Batman in my estimation. That's all.
How's he playing this year? You
listen.
Regular season.
Listen, Michael Jordan didn't win every championship either. He's had some bad championship games too when he came back from his three-peat.
Are we now comparing Jason Tatum to Michael Jordan?
Stop it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Dr. J had a bad championship.
Come on now.
Okay, Dr. J had a bad championship game.
Hey, I bet you could name on your fingers, on your hand.
Chuck, Chuck, when did Dr. J have bad championship games?
Straighten them out, Larry.
Bobby Gross dog those stats back out again, Larry. I don't know why we do this all the time.
He didn't dog him.
Make me do this.
Do your homework.
And Bobby Dandridge did it. Bobby Gross did it.
No, okay, time out one at a time. Julius averaged 30 points against Bobby Gross. Bobby
30,
Gross averaged 17.
30,
He outscored him every game.
Double
figures every game except for one when he only got 9 more than him. Check it out.
Let's not disparage
Bobby Gross, Larry.
Doctor
Bobby
has
Gross.
3 championships.
It wasn't even close. That's a false narrative. Look it up, Chuck. Look it up before we hang up.
The point
Bobby
was, David,
Gross, Larry.
Why
was,
you
Bobby Gross
why
would
you
be
wasting
close.
your energy with Charles?
Oh, they,
But because
Bobby
Larry's a
Gross
Dr. J
something.
fan like me. He's a closet Dr. J fan like me. Larry's a closet Dr. J. He ain't fooling me. But the point was,
I
David,
think he's one of the best players of all time.
ever. Thank you, Larry.
No
Thank
doubt
you.
about it. No
Thank
doubt
you.
about it.
Thank
Yeah.
you. But
He
David,
He
the
averaged
point was
30
bring
points.
back-
He averaged 30 points a game that series you're talking
He
about, Chuck.
did. Please tell him. Please tell him.
He averaged
But
30
David,
points a
back to
game.
you.
Gross
Back
averaged
Hold on.
17.
Back to you, David. The point of bringing Dr. J is because he may have had a bad championship game. I don't know which game it is, but everybody has a bad. But how is
Bobby
Jason?
Dandridge.
he don't
Bobby
play
Jason
Dandridge.
Tatum
Yeah.
had a full series worth of bad games. He had a series full of
How is
bad
he
I
games.
don't
playing
think,
now,
I don't
Dave?
I have to pull. I don't think it was.
He
a full
played
series.
great.
I know
He
had a
played
bad
great in the
last
regular
game.
season last season. He played great in the regular season this season. Let's see him actually have a dynamic.
And they beat the Bucks. And he played well when they beat the
impactful
Bucks. They knocked
playoffs.
I pray
the Jalen.
Seriously.
He's good.
That that you're never, David, on a
Joe
jury
Dumars.
on a trial that I'm in. I just pray, Lord, don't ever let that be on my trial.
You know what? You know what my verdict would be.
I'm dead.
My
I'm
verdict
gone.
would
I
be
know.
take that hat off.
So look.
And again, I'm not going at Earl. Me and Earl just differ on Jalen. Earl loves Jalen. I think Jalen is a really good player. I don't think he's as good as Earl thinks he is. But that's just a flavor thing, right? Earl likes that flavor. I like this flavor. I don't think that Jalen is better than Tatum. I just don't think that.
I think Tatum's the best, but I don't think
That's-
the difference
that's
is
the only thing we
that
disagree
great
on
between
that.
them.
It's not that great at all. I agree
Yeah, I
with
don't
Larry.
think
I agree. I don't disagree with that either, Larry. That's what we're talking
Yeah.
about. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Well, look, that's all the time we have for today. So we're going to do some
come
closing
on.
comments. So,
Okay.
David, you have any closing comments?
I do. I have really a shout out to Aaliyah Boston from the University of South Carolina, who was the #1 pick in the WNBA draft, part of 5 South Carolina Lady Gamecocks who were selected by the WNBA. And guess where Aaliyah Boston is going? She's going to the Indiana Fever right here in Indianapolis. So bravo, Aaliyah Boston, player of the year in college last year and 3-time All-American.
Okay. Bob, any closing comments?
Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw this, but just today elected by the ABBI Association, they said that Dr. J is the GOAT of all time.
What is the ABBI? Just
the Association of Big
viewers.
Bob International Collegiate.
Okay.
Thanks for that clarification. Because some of our viewers may not know all the initials and acronyms that we use.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, Lord.
Chuck, closing comments?
So yeah, mine will be quick. I saw the movie Air this weekend, and it's the story of Nike. You know, we take a lot for granted with that whole Nike thing right now. You know, it's been around for a long time for us, but this was how that whole thing came together. I thought the movie was great. It was I give it an 8.5 out of 10. The only thing I didn't like, Viola Davis was fantastic as Michael Jordan's mom, but Michael Jordan's father and Howard White, who was played by Chris Tucker, they kind of portrayed them clownish, and I didn't like that. 2 black
And he
men.
wasn't.
I didn't like
Howard
how they.
was a beast.
I didn't like how they portrayed the two of them, but Viola was fantastic. The movie was great, and I think it's worth seeing, and I enjoyed it. And it's the whole Nike thing, and look how big that thing is now. So,
Okay. Closing comments, Earl?
Well, it's not a closing comment. I have a closing question. As I was reading today, I make sure I was reading right. Did they say the collective bargaining agreement for the NBA basketball players that they're not testing for marijuana anymore?
That is correct.
no,
Yeah.
You're right. You're correct.
You can start for any team, Earl.
That wasn't necessary.
Lots of leagues have been going
That wasn't
against
necessary, Bobby.
Lots of leagues have been going against that because they have deemed that it's not really a problem. It's not performance enhancing or anything like that. So, and it only causes trouble for them.
It can be.
You know, it's funny.
performance sedating.
Can I add a
And I don't
funny
have no
point about
jumper, so I couldn't start for any team. But so
Can I add a funny point about that, Earl, that just brought that up? 2 weeks ago, a guy came to the house at 8:30. I tell y'all this already, 8:30 in the morning, and took Charles up to the bathroom. And we got a small bathroom up here on this floor. And they were in the bathroom for 30 minutes because he was with the NFL, whatever, and Charles had to pee in the cup. And it's funny because Charles said, Dad, I couldn't pee. And so they were in that bathroom for 30. He wouldn't let Charles leave the bathroom. And interesting part about that whole story is Charles's birthday was on a Sunday, and that guy showed up on a Monday. In other words, a part of me thinks, he's probably having a good time. It's a good time to test him. And they tested him that Monday morning.
That's probably good.
They just showed up at the house.
Wow.
It's the way they do it.
Anyway, I just thought
it could be
I just thought it was
paranoia as well.
I just thought that was bizarre.
Marijuana typically stays in your system for 30 days. So a lot of times they touch other drugs right after weekends when you have parties and stuff like that. But marijuana stays with you.
I heard longer than that, though. I could have swore I heard longer than that, Larry.
Well, I used to run a drug testing program at VA and
Lord, you a snitch.
No, I ran a drug testing program. All right. So when people would test positive, a lot of times they may have even admitted that they used it, a week or so ago. Then I started seeing medical evidence that it'll show up in your urine for up to 30 days. So we tell people don't do it.
Did you guys do hair testing?
We hadn't got to that yet. That's something that would have had.
They would pass every one
and be negotiated.
Hair tests. They would pass all the hair tests.
Well, look,
take that hat off.
I don't have a closing comment, so we're going to end our show now. And you guys did a great job, a lively discussion on the NBA. And to all our viewers, thanks for tuning in, and tune in again next week at 8:00 on Wednesday.
Before you go,
Talk Sports.
Great job. Before you go speak about movies, y'all need to check out the movie Sweetwater about Sweetwater Clifton. That's coming out
Friday, right?
Yes.
First black player in the NBA. First black player in the NBA.
That's why I got my nickname. Before I was Special K, they used to call me Sweetwater Kenza.
And we will wrap the show up here now.
Good job. Good job, Larry. Very good
Great job, Larry.